Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. You guys have no idea how long I've waited to make this video. Like I said before, where I can just have the opportunity to fan out with you guys over our Texas Longhorns victorious today. Hook 'em over the USC Trojans. They came into Austin, they got curb stomped 37-14. A game where we put it away, our 900th win in school history. Very impressive across the board. Very happy for this program. It's a great feeling, after all the conversations we've had back and forth on this channel, back and forth in the community, whether it's Austin across the board, Longhorns Nation. We've been reeling with so much adversity, embarrassment, so many things to discuss in terms of where this program was headed under Tom Herman's direction. And tonight we have a product we can be proud of. Tonight we have a football team we can be proud of. Tonight we have a fan base, the energy that was in that stadium. I could feel it, watching the game through my TV screen. You guys, we do these weekly post-game shows with John Tran. John actually had the pleasure of being at the game tonight. So we'll get, as always, his weekly input on what he experienced, but just the energy that you saw from the students, the UT fans, it was incredible. It was incredible. I want to break this game down, and we'll get into that, and we'll get into some stuff with John. But just take a moment to enjoy this. Anytime you get a win like that, even the Notre Dame win we had a few years ago in 2016, anytime you beat another major program, you go head to head. When you schedule these things, many of us have friends that are fans of these teams, fans of the USC program, fans of other major programs, a lot of trash talking, big events where people come out of town to experience it. This was obviously billed by Fox as the trilogy, whatnot. However you looked at it, is what it is. Just an impressive performance tonight by the Texas Longhorns. I'm so proud of my team. I'm proud to be a Texas fan tonight. Just getting into the game, some of the highlights, if you will. Lil Jordan Humphrey, to me, is the best player on this football team. I think Colin Johnson's probably the best pro prospect. But in terms of production, this game turned around. We're down 14-3. First quarter, it seems like here we go again. We have a delay a game penalty. There's no pass rush. JT Daniels is dotting us up. We're getting dotted up by a kid that should be in high school, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown, I told y'all last week, what his brother did. He comes in, he puts on a show. All these things happen, but that's when you need your playmakers to step up. LJ Humphrey steps up, catches a pass on a third down. Sam Ehlinger makes a play, throw on the run. He gets a 23-yard completion. The very, later in that series, LJ Humphrey's able to catch a pass, break a tackle like he did in the Tulsa game, and score a touchdown. That's making plays, and that uplifted this football team. Chris Boyd turning around, getting an interception, a much maligned Chris Boyd, who's had a relatively difficult career here at Texas, very up and down. He was outstanding tonight in his moments of coverage, moments of, when the ball's in the air and he's able to make a play and wrestle it away from Amon-Ra St. Brown, a guy that USC was clearly trying to get the ball to all night long, able to make plays. Gary Johnson showed up tonight. Chris Nelson showed up tonight. Very proud of those guys. Gary Johnson, you finally got to see his speed flash. I thought this was a better game scheme-wise for him to show off just based on what USC does. Where he was able to, I thought Todd Orlando did a great job of adjusting and giving our opportunities to just fly through the A-gap and be a bat out of hell. Wreak havoc for the quarterback. He was able to force a fumble. All sorts of chaos that he was able to cause back there. Thought Chris Nelson, as the game went on, got better and better at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. was able to thwart a lot of the USC running game. USC finished with -5 rushing yards tonight, and that was after that early Stephen Carr touchdown where he ran right up the middle. It was night and day. This team grew from adversity, and you have to give credit to the coaching staff. To be honest with you, across the board, people rose. There were mistakes made. This was not a perfect game by any of the position groups. You saw mistakes across the board, but they kept playing and they looked energized and they looked like they were having fun. That Maryland game, all this tightness nonsense and all that type of stuff. Tonight was a big game. It's a nationally televised game going against Ohio State and TCU. We'll get to TCU when I talk to Tran in terms of our prep for them next week. But this was a big game, and guys just wanted to fly around and have fun. 100 miles an hour, whether you make a mistake, there was a lot of mistakes made, and a lot of things that the coaches were able to look at the tape and say, hey, here's how we can get better next week. Hey, Brandon Jones, here's how you can high point a football and catch an interception, regardless of what happened. But for them to come out tonight, get square, go against an opponent in USC, and really establish their run game and assert their will towards the end of the game. That really impressed me. Trey Watson is not a dynamic running back. He's very good. As I said before, he's able to identify holes, cut through, and do his thing. Keontae Ingram was certainly missed in a lot of regards. Daniel Young, speaking of fighting through adversity, has a horrible fumble when we're able to, have an opportunity to maybe put the game away. He comes back and he's running harder than ever, running people over almost like a bowling ball, able to close the game. A lot of people have labeled him as our closer in the run game. He was very impressive tonight. I thought, even though Devin Duvernay, going back to the, sticking with the offensive side of the ball, we talked about LJ Humphrey. To me, like I said, he's the best player on this team. Colin Johnson was much more engaged, much more involved. Didn't matter if Imam Marshall was guarding him or if it was Langley. They were targeting him, giving him opportunities to get the football. Devin Duvernay had some opportunities. Unfortunately, they weren't able to connect on a lot of them. A lot of them, to me, were inaccurate throws. But it's just challenging the defense, scheming it up to where you're attacking those safeties, putting that thought in your opponent's head. Later in the game, you see guys on USC, they know they're getting beat, start grabbing him and whatnot. Those plays are going to become touchdowns at the end of the year, and really in Big 12 play, once Sam really gets dialed up on that and we're able to get some of that stuff blocked up a little bit better, those plays are going to be touchdowns. Sam, honestly, in the past game was good, not great, wasn't the sharpest, but he led us. He did an excellent job in the quarterback run game. I told y'all, what are our bread and butter plays? He did a great job in the quarterback run game tonight. All those quarterback sweeps, quarterback power, off tackle. Our running backs did a great job of blocking on the edge. Even Kyle Porter, Trey Watson, all those critical downs, even on fourth down. That's what we do well, and I'm glad we were able to mix that in. Keep them safe, but mix that in, get them comfortable. But we have to shore up those accuracy issues. He was less than 50% tonight, which is never great. But we were able to challenge the defense and try to make some big plays, and big plays came about at all three levels. Special teams came through tonight in a huge way. Cameron Dicker the kicker, thank you, sir. We've missed a kicker in Austin for so long. And to see somebody come through with not one but two 46-yard field goals as a true freshman, his first game actually kicking actual field goals, extremely impressive. Caden Stearns coming through with the block. I'm telling you guys right now, but even the Tulsa game, I was telling you that I wanted to make that video about the Revolution 18 class. Caden Stearns coming through with a big block leading to an Anthony Willard touchdown that just blew the game open, and we were able to kind of front run from there. The special teams effort today was incredible. We got an Anthony Cook sighting. Lots of things we can be, we can hang our hat on. I know a lot of people that may view this video that may be USC fans may point to the moment of the safety, the very controversial play. I believe at the time they were up I'm sorry. I believe they were up 14-13. That safety would have made it 16-13 with not that much time left in the first half. In my opinion, it was very clear that Sam Ellinger did not make it out of the end zone. It was a horrible decision on his part, and something that I'm sure he'll get, reamed on by the staff and needs to get coached up on. Obviously, it didn't come back to bite us today, but those are some of the decision-making things that some of his critics have harped on. But, that was a very controversial play. As a UT fan, I thought that officials and the review team made an awful decision and call. But football is about discipline. And what do I mean by that? The very next, the very next play after we, run and don't get any yards, Clay Helton puts on punt block. And they go after it, and they're very undisciplined and blow up our punter. And now it's a penalty. They don't get the football back. They don't get that field position opportunity. And it turns into ultimately 3 points for us going into halftime to take the lead. That was the huge turning point in the game, and that was a lack of discipline on USC's part. All night long, you saw a lack of discipline. I know a lot of people who are critical. Right now, I'm fanning out. It is what it is. This USC team, objectively speaking, wasn't very good. They're very young. They made a ton of mistakes. They may or may not have given up, but we asserted our will, and that's what I wanted to see, regardless of the opponent. We were looking for that against Tulsa, and we didn't get it. So for us to get it tonight against no matter who's wearing that USC jersey, anytime you get that tonight, it's very impressive as a fan watching the game. Big picture, we still have a tough slate ahead. TCU fought hard tonight against Ohio State. That's going to be a tough out. They are coming here, so we will have a good opportunity, but it's going to be a tough out. OU obviously looked good. Kansas State, that it is what it is when we go to Manhattan. But hey, the first leg of this gauntlet, we're down 1-0. Tom Herman preaches 1-0. And the biggest thing to me is I saw the belief getting built in this program tonight. The belief was built in players as well as the coaching staff. I think they now know offensively plays and bread and butter things they can lean on and things they can do well and things they know they can get shored up. That inside zone was working. Some of the opportunities they had to the tight ends were working. Some of the back shoulders and stuff that they have to some of their bigger wide receivers will be available to them. Now, USC was kind of stubborn and didn't really play the whole two-man under man coverage, that whole kind of cloud concept defense that people have been playing against us in the Big 12. They kind of stuck to their morals and played their defense. We'll see a little bit different look where we won't be able to be as aggressive downfield. How do we respond to that? Those are things we'll have to look at. Defensively, Todd Orlando knows, hey, my heaters, my blitz packages are still 100. They're still there. I can still throw quarterbacks off with that when I need to go to that. But I also got some confidence building pass rushes from Charles Omenihu and even Brecken Hager. I thought Brecken Hager was even better from the outside, rushing more from that, like more of a 3-4 outside linebacker role than having, him be more of a 3 technique in the dirt. So just some things to take away. Overall, it's a step in the right direction for this program. I'm not going to say this is a program-changing win. I'm not going to say Texas is back. But I will say this is a step in the right direction. Handling somebody that once the game started and once you saw the game progress over time, we should have handled this opponent, and they did it. They had a killer instinct tonight. And if they can establish that moving forward and establish the physicality that they had, even with the offensive line, they have something really that they can build on. And we can have a productive season and be a real threat in the Big 12 if this is the product that Tom Herman's going to put forth. But tonight, good night for Tom Herman. Nothing else I can say other than congrats. Hook 'em. We'll be back with more John Tran, more intense breakdown on this game. Get his insights from being in the stadium. But you guys are out there. Enjoy it tonight. Great win. Hook 'em horns. Appreciate y'all.